Om Ajnanantimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapatakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sandvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindabaneswari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Prannamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we are reading from Canto 1, Chapter 15, Text 11, where our Prabhupada fondly titled this chapter as Pandavas Retire Timely. He always, whenever there is opportunity, Prabhupada always tells we need to retire in a timely manner. So here is a chapter dedicated for instructions on how and what and when and all those things. So Pandavas retire timely, and here in this section, Arjuna came back. Yudhishthira Maharaj has been seeing the omens, indicating that Krishna must have left the place, and Arjuna also returned back looking very, very dejected. Not just dejected, actually his mouth dried up, he's so pale and so on. So Arjuna is responding to Yudhishthira Maharaj and outpouring his heart. And in this section particularly, he's recounting how Krishna protected and saved all the time. And this is one of the dangerous situation they face. Out of many dangerous situations Pandavas face. So the text 11 says, Yono Jugopavana eti duranta kruchra durvasari rachitad ayutagra bhugya sakanna sistam upayujyatas trilokim trupta mamamsta salile vinimagna sangha Yono Jugopavana eti duranta kruchra Durvasaso arirachitad ayutagra bhokya Sakanna sistam upayujayatas trilokim Truptam amamstam salile vinimagna sangha. So here in the highlight of this word is couple of words that are highlighted in this verse is that um, uh, Durvasa Rachitat Ayuthagra. They, Durvasa Muni fabricated, along with the Durvasa Muni, they fabricated something that was very dangerous. And the other word that is highlighted in this verse is that, but the Lord, Triptim, he was satisfied. So we're going to hear what was the thing that Durvasmani and the team fabricated, and how the Lord is so wonderful, so merciful, um, how he gets satisfied so easily. So we're going to hear that. Okay. So word to word. Yeah. 1 second. Yeah. One who, na, us, Jugopa gave protection, Vane, forest, Etya, getting in, Duranta, dangerously, Kruchrat, trouble, Durvasaha, of the Rasmuni, Ari, enemy, Rachitat, fabricated by, Ayuta, 10,000, Agra book, one who eats before. Yeah, that person, uh, Saka Anna system, remnants of foodstuff, Upayujya having accepted, Yata because, Trilokim, all the three words, Triptim satisfied, Amamsta thought within the mind, Salile well in the water, Vinimagna Sangha all merged into water. So basically, Durvasmuni and his 10,000 disciples, and along with others, they planned some great dangerous trouble to the Pandavas. But Krishna comes and just takes care of it very easily. Um, the way he takes care of it is very nice. Um, we're going to see more on it. Translation. Arjuna says, during our exile, Durvasmuni, who eats with his 10,000 disciples, intrigue with our enemies to put us in a dangerous trouble. At that time, he, Lord Krishna, simply by accepting the remnants of food, saved us. By his accepting food, thus, the assembly of Munis, while bathing in the river, felt sumptuously fed, and all the three worlds were also satisfied. So, Durvasmuni and his big team planned a great trouble, but Krishna comes and then accepts the food, remnants of food actually, uh, not even you know specifically made offer to Krishna, that which was left out after everyone's eating. He accepts it. Through that, what happens? Not only um, Durvas Muni and his team get satisfied, Trilokim, all the three worlds will get satisfied. So Prabhupada is going to give a instruction on it from that aspect to all of us. Especially he says householders. I think our team is more of householders. Purport. Durvas Muni, a powerful mystic Brahmana, determined to observe the principles of religion with great vows under strict austerities. His name is associated with many historical events, and it appears that the great mystic could be both easily satisfied and easily annoyed, like Lord Shiva. When he was satisfied, he could do tremendous good to the servitor. But if he was dissatisfied, he could bring about the greatest calamity. Kumari Kunti, at her father's house, used to minister all kinds of services to all Brahmanas. And being satisfied with her good reception, Durvasmuni benedicted her with the power to call any demigod she desired. It is understood that he was a plenary incarnation of Lord Shiva, and thus he could be either easily satisfied or annoyed. He was a great devotee of Lord Shiva, and by Lord Shiva's order, he accepted the priesthood of King Svetaketu because of the king's performance of sacrifice for 100 years. Sometimes he used to visit the parliamentary assembly of the heavenly kingdom of Indradeva. He could travel in space by his great mystic powers. And it is understood that he traveled a great distance through space, even up to Vaikuntha planets beyond material space. He traveled these long distances within 1 year during his quarrel with King Ambarisha, the great devotee and emperor of the world. He had about 10,000 disciples, and wherever he visited and became a guest of the great Kshatriya king, he used to be accompanied by a number of followers. Once he visited the house of Duryodhana, the enemy cousin of Maharaj Yudhishthira. Duryodhana was intelligent enough to satisfy the Brahmana by all means, and the great Rishi wanted to give some benediction to Duryodhana. Duryodhana knew his mystic powers, and he knew also that the mystic Brahmana, if dissatisfied, could cause some havoc, and thus he designed to engage the Brahmana to show his wrath upon his enemy cousins, the Pandavas. So when the Rishi wanted to award some benediction to Duryodhana, the latter wished that he should visit the house of Maharaj Yudhishthira, who was also the eldest and chief amongst all his cousins. But by his request, he would go to him after he had finished his meals with his queen Draupadi. Duryodhana knew that after Draupadi's dinner, it would be impossible for Maharaj Yudhishthira to receive such a large number of Brahmana guests, and thus Rishi would be annoyed and would create some great trouble for his cousin Maharaj Yudhishthira. That was the plan of Duryodhana. Durvasmuni agreed to this proposal and he approached the king in exile. According to the plan of Duryodhana, after the king and Draupadi had finished their meals. On his arrival at the door of Maharaj Yudhishthira, he was at once well received, and the king requested him to finish his noontime religious rites in the river, for by that time the foodstuff would be prepared. Durvasmuni, along with his large number of disciples, went to take a bath in the river, and Maharaj Yudhishthira was in great anxiety about the guests. As long as Draupadi had not taken her meals, food could be served to any number of guests. But the Rishi, by the plan of Duryodhana, reached there after Draupadi had finished her meals. So when the devotees are put into difficulty, they have an opportunity to recollect the Lord with rapt attention. So Draupadi was thinking of Lord Krishna in the dangerous position, and the all-pervading Lord could at once know the dangerous position of his devotee. So he therefore came there on the scene and asked Draupadi to give whatever food she might have in her stock. On her being so requested by the Lord, Draupadi was sorrowful because the Supreme Lord asked her for some food and she was unable to supply it at that time. She said to the Lord that the mysterious dish which she received from the sun god could supply any amount of food if she herself had not eaten. But on that day, she had already taken her meals, and thus they were in danger. By expressing her difficulties, she began to cry before the Lord, as only a woman would do in such a position. The Lord, however, asked Draupadi to bring up the cooking pots to see if there was any particle of foodstuff left. And on Draupadi doing so, the Lord found some particle of vegetable sticking to the pot. The Lord at once picked it up and ate it. After doing so, the Lord asked Draupadi to call for her guests, the company of Durvasa. Bhima was sent to call them from the river. Bhima said, "Why are you delaying, sirs? Come on, the food is ready for you." But the Brahmanas, because of Lord Krishna's accepting a little particle of food, felt sumptuously fed, even while they were in the water. They thought that since Maharaj Yudhishthira must have prepared many valuable dishes for them, and since they were not hungry and could not eat, the king would feel very sorry. So it was better not to go there. Thus, they decided to go away. This incident proves that the Lord is the greatest mystic, and therefore he is known as Yogeshwara. And another instruction, sorry, I'm not able to see. Another instruction is that every householder must offer food to the Lord, and the result will be that everyone, even a company of guests numbering 10,000, will be satisfied because of the Lord's being satisfied. That is the way of devotional service. That's it, Prabhujis and Matajis. So, nice lessons here. That first thing is about Durvas Muni. All of us know, at least, for the people who doesn't know about Durvas Muni, he was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. And as Lord Shiva, he also is very easily pleased and very easily annoyed. And if he gets annoyed, it's not going to be easy. So, a couple of instances how Benedictine he is when he is pleased. One is Prabhupada mentions about Kumari Kunti. Kumari. Kunti Devi is a little girl still. And then Durvas Muni was visiting and she served him so nicely, so much so. Durvas Muni gives a benediction that she can call any Devata at her choice. So much so, she gets benefited. She takes help of this benediction in a great length in the later parts of Mahabharata. And another example is with Radharani. So one time, Durvas Muni, Radharani and her friends came across Durvas Muni on the streets of Vrindavan, and they were far away from the homes. So Durvas Muni comes to them and says, "I'm hungry. I need food." And gopis, they say, Sure, Mahashaya. We'll quickly run to our homes, get it as quickly as possible. But the Rasmuni says, no, right now. I'm hungry right now. So they all get scared. But our dear most Radharani, she takes the nice soft dust from the road. There is a roadway where Krishna passes through with his cows. It is very dusty. It's the dust is like the road is like in a powdered dust. It is because cows, um, when they were going for grazing, they don't want Krishna to get pricked by any nails, any hard stones. So with their hooves, they used to powder that um, the hard particles on the road. So Radharani takes the mud, mixes it with water, and quickly gives it to Durvasmani. And Durvasmani looks at them. What do you mean? You're asking me to eat mud? And Gopis say, no. Radharani is very special. Please try. Please. She's very good cook. She is expert. So the Rasmani eats. That's it. He gets fully satisfied with that mud biscuit that was made from the mud um, from the Vrindavan roads. So that time he gives two benedictions to her. One of the benediction that was mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Anjalila is that whatever she cook would be sweeter than nectar. That's a special feature of her cooking. Actually, it is mentioned in a more direct way that she would not repeat her, what do we say, recipe. No, she would not repeat the same meal. That's one of the benediction. And the other benediction is whoever eats it, they will be uh, healthy. They'll be blessed with eternal health, something of that sort. So that is his wonderful, pleasing qualities of the Rasmuni. But when he is not happy, it's not going to be easy. So that instance happened in the case of Ambarish Maharaj. Ambarish Maharaj, he was a great devotee and he committed to do 1 year. He was also an emperor. For the welfare of everyone, he committed for an 1 year long observance of Ekadasi. So he was about to finish, and the Dwadashi has come. Today is also Dwadashi. When he was about to break his Ekadasi fast, the Rasmuni comes with his and becomes his guest. Ambarish Maharaj was also so happy. It is so auspicious situation that great sage has come at the time of completion of this vrata, at the time of breaking the break. So he invites him to eat. Durasmani says, okay, I will go take bath and finish my noon duties and come. And Durasmani goes, but he doesn't come back for a long time. Amrish Maharaj was so concerned because fast breaking time is getting to come to close. So he consults his ministers, as all good kings do, and then they say, break, take Charnamrita. So that way you are breaking the fast and also not breaking the fast. But Durasmuni, he is the greatest mistake as we read. So he comes to know about this and then he gets very angry. So then what he does, he comes to the assembly. He is not going to say anything, just pulls the strand of a hair and hits to the floor, creates a great demon, and orders the demon go and kill Amrish Maharaj. Amrish Maharaj is a very wonderful devotee, as we all know. He he's an emperor, but he performed wonderful devotional service with all his limbs. We always hear that he used his hands to clean the temple, used his body to touch the devotees, used the ears for hearing about the Lord, eyes to see the Lord, and mouth to eat prasadam, legs to walk to the temple, and so on. So much so, Vishnu, being pleased with his pure devotion, he arranged his own Sudarshan Chakra to guard and protect Durvas Muni, Maharaj Parikshit. So when the demon comes, so Maharaj Parikshit was so humble and he ready to accept whatever the Brahmana was blessing. But Sudarshan Chakra would not let the demon do anything. And it just at once takes care of the demon. And after that, Sudarshan Chakra goes after Durvas Muni. As we read, Durvas Muni is also a great mystic. He can travel, anywhere and everywhere. So he travels everywhere in this universe, asking everyone to protect. But everyone says, "Hmm, yeah." He tries to take shelter of Shiva, uh, and then Lord Shiva says, "Sorry, you know, it's not in our control. You need to check with Narayana." And he even goes to Narayana. Actually, he goes to Vaikuntha Loka. He gets out of this material world and goes to Vaikuntha Loka. And Narayana says, "I'm sorry, I don't have any power. Only my devotee has the power." So then again, he comes back to the earth and then he takes shelter of Amrish Maharaj to be excused from an offense. So then Amrish Maharaj, wonderful king, he offers prayers to Sudarshan Chakra, saying that whatever, any title in my account, I'm offering it to this Brahmana. Please let this Brahmana be saved. So uh, then Durvas Muni gets saved. So that's the story. When he gets angry, no one can handle it. So he was visiting uh, Duryodhana. When he was visiting Duryodhana, Duryodhana is very expert. He made all the arrangements. He went to the extent that is possible to please Durvas Muni. And he knew when Durvas Muni is pleased, he's going to award benedictions. So he pleased him so nicely. Durvas Muni says, "Okay, what do you want?" So then Duryodhana plans for the disaster of Pandavas. So he tells to Durvas Muni, "Could you please visit my eldest and chief among my cousins, Yudhishthira, and that too, can you please go after both king and queen had taken the meals?" Because the reason is they had Akshay Patra. So that was presented by Sun God. And the specialty of the Akshay Patra is that until the time Draupadi eats, it can produce any amount of food. But if she eats, it cannot produce anything more. So plan is set. Durvasmani goes with his 10,000 disciples. At that time, the Yudhishthira Maharaj and Draupadi had finished their meals. Cultured and wonderful king Maharaj Yudhishthira is that he receives them very, very nicely and offers to offer prasadam and then requests to take them to finish their take bath in the nearby river and finish their known rites. But they were in a troubled situation. That's what Arjuna is narrating now. Dear, my dear brother, you remember we were put into great trouble. So that's what he says. Rachitad, Duranta Kruchad, dangerous. Duranta means dangerous. Kruchad, trouble of Durvasa, Durvas Muni, and enemies, Ari, enemies. And they had fabricated with this dangerous great trouble 10,000 with their 10,000 um, disciples. So that's what, they were in great trouble. What to do, what to do, what to do. Prabhupada tells the wonderful devotees, when they're put in difficulty, they take it as an opportunity to remember Krishna very strongly. And so much so, when Draupadi did, when Draupadi remembered Krishna in rapt attention, Krishna also came at once. Amazing, right? So wonderful. He was in Dwarka and he comes. What happened? What happened? And Draupadi tells this a situation. She was telling, that there is no way I can make the food. I already ate. And Krishna asks, let's go back to the what Prabhupada says here. He asked Draupadi to give whatever food that she might have in her stock. But Draupadi says, my lord, I'm so sorry. The Sakshay Patra could only supply any amount of food until the time I have eaten. But today I have already taken the meals. Right. So she was crying and crying and crying. And Prabhupada nicely comments, as only a woman would do in such situation, right? This is a very sensitive thing for women. I know some of our devotees, when they end up in a situation they don't have anything to offer, yeah, they did cry in our community. So we need to be careful when we go and ask for food. So Draupadi was crying. So Krishna says, that's fine, that's fine. Get the pot. Let's see if there is anything left. Note the wonderful nature of Krishna here. His personality of Godhead, supreme personality of Godhead. He's following the rules. And he's ready to accept anything that is left. So much so, when the pot is bought, he finds something that is sticking to the pot in a little particle, and he eats it. And he tells, okay, ask Durasmani to come for the meals. And there goes not the Bhima. This is, I like this Bhima's pastime here very much. Bhima goes and he doesn't ask, come on, what are you saying? You're not even, started cooking. There are 10,000 people. How do you ask them to come? He didn't ask any questions. But instead, what he said is, oh, sages, why are you delaying? Please come. Food is ready. He said with so much enthusiasm. The sages got so much bewildered. They thought they made a lot of dishes. We are feeling very full. If we don't go and eat, it will be a great disaster. So much so, actually, the text says they get merged into the water. Vinimagna Sangha. That's what the text says. But Prabhupada says they disappear. Simply. Who eats, interact with our enemies, put into dangerous trouble at that time, simply accepting the remnants of food saved us. The assembly of Munis felt sumptuously fed. Yeah. Any case. So the text says they got merged. So basically they didn't come back even. They just went away from there. So the lessons for us is that, and of course, Prabhupada gives a straight instruction that he says this word: we must offer food to the Lord. That's what Prabhupada is telling. Every householder must offer food to the Lord. So that has a lot of blessings, especially for Grihasthas. And one of the blessings Prabhupada mentions here is we will be able to satisfy any number of people, numbering 10,000. That's what he says. And moreover, actually, it is good. It actually helps our senses to be controlled, right? That's what we learn from instruction of nectar of instruction and so on. When the food that is nicely offered to Krishna, not only it pleases our, it satisfies our senses, it actually like makes us happy. It's the best thing we can ever do to ourselves. So the couple of lessons here, we are very, very grateful for Arjuna for kindly sharing his inner emotions, his feelings of separation, recounting the gratitude to Krishna. Krishna is always saving, he's always there to help us. Minimum, he's there with us at this moment as a super soul. He's always there with us, he's always ready to help us. Only we have to call him. And so Arjuna is greatly, you know, stuck with his emotions for missing that great and that wonderful, sweet personality. May we be blessed with a drop of that on this auspicious day after observing Nirjala Ekadasi. And the second lesson is, you know, Bhima, you know, is faith and confidence. He didn't ask, how are you saying? Okay, Krishna is telling to call. How, what do you mean? How do you call? He didn't ask. Actually, to just resonate, in the war, during the war, Krishna asked Yudhishthira Maharaj to tell Aswadhama Hataha, but uh, Yudhishthira Maharaj hesitates for a moment. But here, Bhima, he does it so nicely, especially because of him only we had, we are having Nirjala Ekadasi, the special Ekadasi of the year. When we observe this Ekadasi, we get all the benefits of the following the rest of the Ekadasi Vratas in the year. So just like small appreciation and gratitude. So when he was asked, you know, he executed the instruction more than nicely. He just didn't tell, food is ready or something like that. But he said with such an enthusiasm, actually the food is ready. He was calling, why are you delaying, sir? Come on. All the things are ready. So we can also pray for a drop of his mercy to have that faith and confidence in our Guru and Krishna's instructions. Finally, this is the third one. It's already 7:41. The Lord, you know, how merciful he is. We hear of his prominent quality as Bhaktavatsal. Here it is, Krishna in action. His devotees, they just called and he came at once. And not only he came at once, and he accepted was left over, basically. After not even before eating of everyone, after eating of everyone, he takes this little thing. And Krishna is so inviting. He's really doing more than what we don't even dream and deserve for. So we should be open to him. We should be able to say yes to him all the time. My thoughts are going to. We should be able to say, or we should not say no to our, in whatever our senior devotees, our acharyas are asking us. Like Prabhupada is asking, we must offer food, we must offer food, right? If you are not able to do, we can tell, I'm in this situation, I'm not able to offer. Except that we don't want to say no. That's all. So that's it. Today's reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 15th chapter, text 11, Arjuna recounting how Krishna saving from the greatest danger, that was intrigued by the enemies and Durvas Muni and his 10,000 disciples. That's it, Prabhuji and Matajis. Anyone want to bless? Any embellishments, comments? Okay. Thank you very much, so much for your blessings. So we will connect back tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.